Well guys, here we are at the Pioneer Automotive Museum in Murdo, and this is one of the original General Lees. Built originally by the original creator for Warner Brothers, and still owned by Warner Brothers actually. You can still see it still wearing its 97 California plate when they went and did the Dukes of Hazzard reunion film. Built by Cinema Vehicle Services. It's the only time really you're going to get to see inside this. So this is the original and first spec General Lee.
And this guy here.
And here is 77 Trans Am SE Special Edition. Smoking a Bandit package. All original, perfect. One of Dave's favourites. This is a wooden car, completely made out of wood. 2 engines, front wheel drive and rear wheel drive Cadillac, so it makes this 4-wheel drive. A Dale Earnhardt movie car. Richard Petty stock car, which is super cool. 1950 Merc. James Dean, yeah, it's not the real James Dean one, but it's pretty cool. And this is a Lincoln Continental, one of the first editions. They lost money on this as the Ford division wanted to go more upmarket, so this was their Cadillac competing cars. How cool is that? Packard straight 8, convertible in gold. Buick Woody Wagon with a swamp cooler in it, 1952. Very rare in Woody Wagon. 57 convertible Chevy. An Isetta, Harley Davidson, and just tons of stuff. This place is amazing. I'll just show you a bit more when we go a bit later on. It's just absolutely packed with cool stuff. Dave hoarded some amazing stuff here. There's something for just about everybody. Still reliably playing away. There's amazing automobile and every kind of thing here. From the grills to parts of the old town and snowmobiles and pipes. Yeah, just incredible. Jay Leno with Dave there. Dave Guisler is the guy that started this in '53. His dad was a collector too, so they put some real incredible stuff in here. Plymouth Superbird. It's got a really cool DMC dealership sign on the wall too. Viper. RT Challenger. Ragtop. Wow. White interior. 383 big block. It's a really special car now. Was then too, I guess. GTO Ragtop. Shelby GT500. 70 Judge Ragtop. Dave's Plymouth Prowler. And outside here, which is incredible, is basically there's 42 buildings to walk around here. And it's massive. It's got everything from the old town here. Collected everything and kept all of it. So when they were going to demolish the old town, Dave and his dad, I think it was, they actually took all of it and put it here. I mean, it's massive. This is like a huge walk around. '70 SS 396 big block convertible. It's a beautiful car, mint condition. '68 Camaro SS ragtop. Kaiser Darien. Oh yeah. Super rare car. Sliding doors. These were a performance sports car, really. But 161, 3-speed. Probably never see one of these again. Very hard car to see in the flesh. This will be the first of the Ford V8 Coupe. Wow, Tom Mix's 31 Packard. The Cowboy Star. So cool. Show you some more building. This is the Orphan car building. Not quite sure where all these are in here for, but the Nash Metropolitan definitely fits into that category. So these were a 1500cc, I think, car built for the American market. See, with a massively American styling. Not super popular, surprisingly. People quite liked them, but they were quite small, very small inside. And nowhere near the luxury that Americans were ready for, were accustomed for, you know. There's a Willis, which is the Willys, depends where you pronounce it. One of their 33 earlier cars. Obviously they're more famous for the Jeep, but still cool. 36 V8 sedan, very cool. Lots of these cars have been here for many, many years. It's like a giant barn find museum, just super cool. And Chevy, the Brooklyn safety car. Not many people have seen these. It was designed to be safe. They give in safety yellow and safety orange, if I remember right. AMC 360 engine in it. Not a massive success story, unfortunately, these, but very cool to look at now. But they came with the big safety bumpers and everything. They were meant to be a lot safer than the original cars that they had at the time, like a safety sports car. I'm not quite sure how true that is. They were fiberglass. Durant. This is a beautiful car, lovely colour too. Well, I'm not really sure what that is. Little tiny engine thing, what is it? A single cylinder 100 mile per gallon. Single headlight. Wow. Don't know if I'd want to drive that much on the freeway. Another very cool Orphan. I don't even know what this is. A King Midget. I've never ever heard of one. If anybody ever heard of one, or they've got some more history than me in these, please let me know. Look at this. This is Crossley. Crossley famously built some very economical cars in, I think it was probably the late 30s to the 50s, and they just built tiny 4-cylinder things. But this car is tiny. Oh my god, this is 2 cylinders. It's even smaller. Wow. It's like it's so small it's hard to believe. Well, everybody knows these. RX-7 rotary. Very cool. Nice mint original. Lovely interior. Full 5-speed car. Very popular in the States. Thirsty, but quick. Not quite sure what this gigantic Buick is made for. This is a Riviera. You can tell by the safety bumpers this is a lighter one. 73, 74, 73. 455, 22,000 miles from new. Boat tail Riviera. They called it these because the styling on the back was very resembling a boat at the time. Not because of the size of the car, we call them boats now, but that was kind of revolutionary when they came out in 71, I think. Just an amazing glass window. Look at that. Two-piece. It's a split right through the middle of it. Don't know how they... I mean, just a massive thing to make. You'd never see a styling cue like that again. Look at this. This one's beautiful. And it's the big block 455 too. And I won't walk away without showing you the Datsun at the end. 280Z. Lovely colour. This one's beautiful. Like a bronzy colour with the gold wheels. Really makes it stand out. I suppose this is the Nissan one, maybe? Nissan or Datsun, 81. Manual car as well. Really cool. I mean, it was the car that was built to compete with the British sports cars at the time. The early ones, the 240Z, this will be a 280, which is the last of them. And this is the bigger, more comfortable version of it. You can see it's grown a lot. It's lost a lot of the purity of the original design. 6-cylinder, fuel injected this would be. Just a lovely cruising car. Not as sporty as the original ones. I'll come back on and I'll show you some more sheds later on, but this place is amazing. I guess it's really hard to kind of show you the scale of this because it's just such a big place. Not many people stay here, which is incredible. But you've got the old heavy bearded boiler there. But it's amazing to see it. I mean, some of you'll remember churches like this. I remember something similar in Wales, but not quite this one.
Stylish congregation. You could see that.
1959. Just so cool to see this. Two-door 34 Ford V8. Obviously favoured by such people as bank robbers in the day because they were so quick. One of David's Model T sea cabs. Imagine driving all through the Badlands driving this. 1903 Model A. Wow. So many cool T's. These are real art to drive these. They've shown all the different body styles here. You know, the Taurus, two-door Taurus, Doctor's Coupe, I think they call this. I think that's a Doctor's Coupe actually. What would that be? Oval rear window and centre door. I imagine that would be a cab of some description, maybe. Let's see, military Jeep. 33 Ford. Look at that, all original. 7 Phaeton with a matching trailer. I mean, that was mind blowing when the styling came out. That was just space aged, I guess. 51 Ford, two-door. Obviously the Thunderbird. I mean, everyone loved these. 55, all original, not messed with. Been here for many, many years in this museum. Wow, 78 on the plate, probably been there since at least then. The first Mustang in the town. 260 V8. sold brand new to date. So one owner all the way through. Nickname Trigger, and everybody's used it. So cool. It was actually part of the fact that's one of the family cars. But everywhere, look, there's memorabilia, there's license plates, wheels, stuff that Dave collected. It's just an amazing museum. I mean, it really is. Like, you'd never get to see anything like this. A lot of people sort of grumble about it because it's not perfectly maintained, you know, it's not sort of, but this is all original stuff. I mean, it's something you'd never get to see anywhere else in the world. Wherever you go, like, they change a lot of exhibits and they don't, just doesn't have this kind of stuff, like the patina and the parts. It's just a wonderful looking place. I think it's fantastic. Couldn't improve on this if I tried. I'll put you back on when I probably show you some more sheds. This is the railway station from Murdo, across there. That's a livery barn. What a great place to walk around this. Really, can't say how much I'm enjoying this actually, to be honest. It's just so nice to see it. Oh yeah, it's the livery stables. Look at this. It's really something for everybody. Couches. I can see old doctor's buggy. One of these old boot hill displays. I remember these many years ago. Wells Fargo stagecoach. Imagine riding in that. Wow, that's really cool. Imagine going in this across the country. What an incredible thing to ride on. This is the old fire truck. Post office wagon. It's just so much stuff. Look at the old hearse. Wow. 1890. Oh yeah, it's got lights on it, look. So cool. Wish I had a quarter I could show you the boot hill display working. I mean, there are so many buildings. We're lucky today, it's not so busy, so it's quite cool to go and have a look around it. So I can't really reliably tell you too much about vintage cars myself. It's a Franklin, I think. A lot of these were air-cooled, I believe. It's really lovely. It's really, really nice condition. Orphan. A lot of these cars were tested, I think, to 100 miles an hour, some of these original ones. I think that was more the speedster though. But this is a beautiful four-door. Look at the colours on it. Hard to believe that it was like that in 1934, right? 21 Moon sedan. St. Louis apparently built. There were so many different makers. Just such an incredible range of cars you could have bought back then, you know? It's a bit Stutz. It's really an expensive car back in the day. Expensive car now, I guess. Pierce Arrow. Look at that, 58 retractable. And you thought of modern retracting hardtops were new. Well, Ford did it with a steel hardtop. It was 57, the original ones. But look at that. So complicated. How they got that to work, I don't know. It was all hydraulic as well. Yeah, 6 in blue at the back. Look, police van. That's lovely. This is huge, the Buick. I mean, huge car. Look. Very impressive. 1925 Flint. Can't tell you anything about the flint at all, but I can show you. So you can have a quick read of this. A Roosevelt. Wow. Look at that Hupmobile. Surprised looking with his huge lights. Would have been really beneficial back in those days. And this, that's a work of art. I really like that. So when people talk about woody wagons, well, I guess they kind of meant this to start off with. Never heard of this. Jackrabbit. Epperson V8. But lots of cars were built in wood originally in the old days. And even in the sort of the 40s and 50s, like surfers loved them because the wooden backs used to rot, and they made them unstable, and that made them cheap. So surfers generally started off in lots of old woody cars, and that's how they became famous. So lots of surfers drove woody cars because they were big, cheap, had room for all the boards, and yeah, that's where the woody wagon became famously associated with surfers. A Rickenbacker. I wonder if these were anything to do with the people who built guitars later on. Oh, a big impressive car, look. Well, basically I'm going to show you a fraction of what's going on here. It's super windy today, so apologies for my terrible audio as usual. I mean, it's hard just to tell you how impressive it is. So you just walk into room after room after room and building after building after building this. It's 40 odd buildings here, you know, and just an incredible range of cars. I mean, I just literally don't have the time to sit and run you through every single car because it's just fascinating. You know, Dave and his dad actually picked up a collection of cars which are just mind-blowing. There's a cord right out back up here. I mean, Lafayette's. Yeah. Look at the back. That's a very special couple of cars here. Front-wheel drive, even back in the 30s. There's an out flick-up lights. A solar race car. This is really interesting. Stop to tell you a little bit about this. It's the Stanley Steamer. So this is actually a steam-powered car. 1925, last year of production. Is the boiler at the front where you normally have the engine, and these were actually pretty fast and reliable. I mean, steam was a well-known power source then, so they still run these things around. It's like Stanley Club. They go to the Overlook Hotel, I think, or that's the Stanley Hotel, which is the one they used in The Shining, and they run these up there every year, I think it is, with like quite a few of them, and they take them up to the top. And even now, they still run good. They just said the guy I knew that drove them said that brakes were the problem really on the way down. And that, you think electric cars are new? 1914. Once upon a time, electric and petrol were sort of running hand in hand. Pontiac Ventura. Oh, this is the senator's car. That's why she's in here. With a case. So case obviously famous for farm equipment. I'm sure a lot of you are going to comment in on this. Tell me a lot more stuff about it. But feel free. Like, if you know more about the cars, talk about them. This is only like a really short tour. I mean, I'll try and keep this to about half an hour. But this is hours. You could be here all day. Especially if you're really knowledgeable about cars, you'd spend a lot of time in here looking at some of these. And the beautiful thing about all these cars is they're original. A lot of these aren't restored or anything. They've just been parked here for a long, long, long time, which is cool. Actually, really nice. Look, stationary engine outboard motors. Just so cool. Oh, Landbrek Chevrolet. So, I don't know if many of you know about the Landbrek Chevrolet auction, but this is one of the cars from there. Landbrek Chevrolet, Ray Landbrecht was a Chevrolet dealer, and he just had a habit of keeping the cars that he took in part exchange. He just kept them all, even brand new cars, and he drove them out to the so I'm just showing this is the gas station that goes with it. He drove them out to the fields, turned them off, and left them there with the keys to the ignition for 20, 30, 40 years. And then a few years ago, they sold them all in a huge auction. Made a lot of money. It would have been 2013 they sold them all. This is the original station too. This isn't like a replica, it's the original one. I mean, how cool is that? Oh, look, we got Matt over there, wandering around. Say hi, Matt. Look at this. Like, we haven't even got halfway around this. We haven't got anywhere near the start of this yet. A cool place, eh?
Yeah.
So, not everything is restored or over-restored or under-restored. It's just here.
Yeah.
It's great. I think there used to be a tow truck down here. I think there was a steam-powered F100 in here, which is... Oh, wow, check this out. Snowmobiles. Like, this is what I really like, and I guess everyone likes now. All patinaed farm trucks, right? It's just a big, massive thing. Now, look at this beautiful F100. Oh, wow. Okay, I guess that's a plough attachment, is my guess. Just a great old South Dakota truck. Patina, no real rust. With these Jeeps. Look at the snowmobiles. That's so cool. Wow. You vintage tractor enthusiasts. Plenty of that here too. That little Jeep John Deere is beautiful. So cool. Wow. Look at the motor in this. It's gigantic. The good thing is, like I said, a lot of these are just pulled in, parked up, and that's it. Wow, horse and dray wagon. Rumley tractor, never heard of it. Fantastic though. Big power takeoff on the side, I guess. And of course, these are lovely. They're like at least great condition. Like a lot of these things, you just imagine these literally just been driven in off the plane to here. Oliver, look at that little two-wheel front V-type steering. Wow. Wow, I bet that was a rough ride. Everybody knows Farmalls. That's lovely too, little Oliver. Again, looking like something from a kid's storybook, right? Big old farm trucks. Now look, this probably started off as a car. I'd take a guess. If somebody knows more about these than me, I'd love to know. But that looks like that started off as a car and then became a tractor. Because at one point in time there was a kit to convert Model Ts to tractors. Look at that. 60 horsepower. Hard to believe something so gigantic was used to do that. But man, 60 horsepower was a lot then. I mean, that's 60 horses. You know? A tiny Ford tractor. See, everywhere you look here is really cool stuff. You know, everywhere you look. And you can just kind of walk in amongst it. It's not, you know, like a lot of museums, you can't go anywhere. You can walk in here and look around. And everywhere is cool. That's a Renault 5 car. Anybody who watches Cold War Motors would recognise that instantaneously. Unbelievably sold in American. Unbelievably sold out here in the middle of the Badlands. Willie's Aero. So this was their run into civilian cars. Wow. AMC Pacer. Decked up with caddy trim. Oh, this is such a great place, honestly. If you ever get the time to make it out here, it's just a wonderful place to visit. Really. Like it's a 55, civilian Willys Jeep. Or Willys. I always get it wrong. People will definitely tell me I'm wrong. Look. More beautiful F1s. Great Falls. Dave sold this one new. And he obviously got it back when she was very second hand. But still so cool. Oh wow. Okay, I'm just going to read this one because it's always worthwhile reading Dave's stuff. So this was sold new by Dave. It's a 300 4-speed. Drove it 200,000 miles. All the way to Pioneer Auto. Never had any mechanical work. All the work done and driven by Dave. Oh, John Guisler, not Dave. And then retired into here. But at 200,000 miles, it's still cool. Hardly dented, look. International pickup. I love these. I think they're beautiful. Another Rary. These are, I think these are called the Willys Overlander. So it's the station wagon version. Local car. You can always pause this if you want to read some of these notes because they're really cool. Well, this was going till 98. You know what, guys? This museum is huge. Like wherever you walk, it's just great. And I think if you like stuff like I do, if you're watching this channel, you gotta kind of like what I like. So there's so much stuff to see of the old town, out of the old buildings, and the old local history. I mean, look at this. This is just like walking into someone's barn, right? But a barn with every tractor in it they ever had. I'm sure everybody recognizes these little Fords and Fugies, as they're called in the UK, and Fords over here, I think, if I remember right. I mean, that's a TE style tractor, I think. Being Welsh, all the farmers used to have those. So you even collect all the stuff from the Honda dealer and stuff. It's just so cool. I don't know if we'll ever see museums like this again. Hot rod manure spreader. Awesome. Rather interestingly named tractor, 1949. Oh wow. This is actually, she's a little hot rod in this truck. The pinstriping. The big mirrors. Oh yeah, she's hot rodded inside for sure. Can't remember the rules. Oh wow, it's got fender skids too. Oh, and caddy tail lights. So it gets better the more you look at it. Look. I'd say this is probably something they still run here. Okay, well, you know, at some point in time, I'm going to start wandering off and looking at the rest of the museum myself. I'll just show you inside there. This is the outside storage, but it's really, really cool. Is this the last shed? This might be the last shed. Corky's Auto Supply. Oh wow, it's still dark in here, but it's really cool. Look at this. AMC Gremlin. Studebaker Avante. Striking car. And a lovely one too. Really nice condition too. Studebaker Dictator. Coupe. Another Studebaker, bullet nose, 1950. 51. Yeah, 51, Starlight Coupe. I really like these. Most people look at Studebakers and know them for one thing. And these ones, most people know them from the Muppet Show. Fozzie Scar. Another Studebaker, the Lark. This one's lovely condition. Early Volkswagen. Chevy Monte Carlo. Most people recognise that. I think that's a 73 or 4. I'm not looking at it. It's a 75. Oldsmobile Convertible. Delta 88, I think. And this is the Pony Barn too. So this is where a lot of the cool Mustangs are. And the Vet. And look at this in the corner. Special for John for car. VW Thing. Basically kind of the Kubler Wagen, sold in the US for hippies, beach lovers and so on. Just really, really cool thing. 54 Vet. Look at that. Wow. Really nice. 65 Mustang Convertible. 66 Mustang Fastback. 67, you can see the difference here, which you don't often get to see from the early Mustangs. And the later ones, much more aggressive styling. You can see the headlights are sucked back in further. And it's just a redesign on the front, but it's actually a really successful redesign. 68 notchback. And then 69. Which you can see was a radical redesign. Much bigger looking, much aggressive, more aggressive looking. Oh, that's a Mach 1.2 with a big block. And a shaker. So the shaker was called a shaker because it stuck through the bonnet, it's attached to the motor and it shakes when the engine runs. This one's got hood pins and everything. This is a real special looking car. Wow, look at that. 9,500 wheels. Spoiler at the back. Racing red, got the call outs on the bonnet. That was serious. It's a serious car, you know. And then the upmarket version of the Mustang, which is the Mercury Cougar. Same basic floor pan, same basic platform. Really nice car to drive actually. I always had a soft spot for the Cougar. Sequential tail lights and flip up headlights, just really cool. And then the Torino was the other majorly performance orientated car. This one's got hood pins. I've got a feeling this is going to be something cool. Yeah, she's a Cobra Jet as well. 429. Sold new. Like Dave again. Ford family. SS 396 Impala. Actually, what am I talking about? It's not Impala, it's a Chevelle, right? Big block car. Man, there's all the performance stuff in here. Look, AMX. What's in that? It doesn't really say. I wonder if that's the 401 in that. What a cool car. Look at that. This is some rarity stuff that people don't really talk about a lot. That's I call it the Scrambler. So it's a 390 in that one. Look at it. Call out, hood scoop, AMC really going to the racing thing. But this is my favourite car. Maybe of all time. I've always had a thing for them. It's the Rebel machine. Red, white and blue. I think they've been in for 2 years, 69, 70, but they were very rare. They didn't really take off like they should have, but such a cool looking car. And rare, I mean massively rare. You know? See the call out there, the machine? This was really the hippie era performance wagon. And it's lovely. It's so lovely. And brilliant paint job, right? Made it was Kenosha, I think, Wisconsin. 66 T-bed. And then there's a 58 square boot, they call those. Which is really nice. Oh, it's a rag top too. In the back, that's a 58 Chevy coupe. Look at that, like the one in American Graffiti, basically. From paint scheme, but yeah, it's a beautiful Mustang GT in here. Dave's car. So when they've redone the Mustang and put, you know, the oldest shape styling on it, the retro styling, Dave bought one and kept it. Said this is new. I don't know what that is. I was gonna guess it was a Piaggio 8, but I think it's not. But it's a really cool thing. Tuk-tuks, not the world. Look at that. See that in the back? Old Vista wagon, which means they've got the really cool roofs with the extra lights in them. But I can't walk in and show you that. But a lot of those got taken off and put on vans in the 70s. 47 Chevy coupe. Another really, 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 really cool car. And that's the Buick Riviera clamshell. So these lights open. But I'm not sure on this one. Yes, these open up like a clamshell. And they look really cool. This is the AMC Marlin. It's another rare car. A lot of these were sort of muscle cars, but they didn't really get the press or anything that the other ones did. And the Marlin, a lot of them were 6 cylinders. But cool. Just trying to show you these as I'm going through them. 54 Mercury, Sun Valley, that would be the one with the glass top. Very rare. So they've got a glass roof in these. Like the front panel is glass, like the Crown, I think it was a Vicky, wasn't it? Crown Vic. SS Impala, rag top. Man, there's some nice cars in here. 29 Merc, 1940 Graham. I know nothing about that car whatsoever, but very cool. Looks very similar to a Accord. Oh wow, so they actually used a Accord body. Buick 8. That's an ex-Hollywood film car. If anybody knows what films this was used in, let me know below in the comments. Unmistakable this. A Nash. Look at that, hideaway front wheels. They did all that for aerodynamics. They weren't exactly super fast, but they were quite cool. I never knew Pininfarina designed them, but now I do. Mercury Park Lane ragtop, just a giant car. 390, I guess that's an FE motor in there. Wow, Nash Ajax. Then became the Nash Light 6. The other side of the Monty. I'll show you a bit more about this lovely 88. Look at that. Last of the monster convertibles, really. After this, everything kind of shrunk. Of course, Delta 88, very famous, actually, and mostly famous for being the slightly early version of this in all of Sam Raimi's films, The Evil Dead. Sorry, this video might have chopped and changed around a bit, but it's kind of hard to show you everything here. It's a wonderful museum, this. I really can't tell you how much I like it. I mean, every car guy should make an effort to come out here, because it'll change, but it's amazing at the moment. I mean, it's just a phenomenal museum. It's run by Dave's son now, but Dave still appears. He's still a super cool guy. If you ever get a chance to talk to him, like, really, he is the font of all knowledge to cars. Look at this Edsel. See what I mean by barn find? Edsel Pacer, horse collar grill. I will one day tell you the story about this. Sold in Murdo. I hope you can see this. My son is completely killing my lens at this point in time. 59 Edsel Villager wagon. Wagons are so cool. Erskine, built by Studebaker. 48 DeSoto. Before they put the big fangs grills in them. 1971 AMC Javelin. I really like these. I think it's such a cool car. Oh yeah, I was right, Kenosha. Dodge Crew Cab truck. Another Pacer. Now, this is a Ford Anglia. I had a Ford Popular, exactly the same as this, as my first car. It's the car that started it all for me. I fell in love with these old cars, and ever since I've been walking around looking at museums and showing people old stuff ever since. Look at that little Subaru. I think they were a Subaru 360 K car. More Crossleys. This is the more familiar ones to most people. It's a 50. Yet again, tiny vehicle. Incredible. Lots of them use as clown cars lots of times after. Beautiful. 63 Ranchero. Love these. Local car. Sold again by Dave. Ford dealer. Ford Pinto. Oh wow, look, there's a Corvette. Early Corvette too. 63. Dave just kept these. Like they were traded in and he was like, oh well, can't sell it, I'll keep it. Right, there's something here that I've never seen before in my life. And I don't think anybody of you have ever seen before. I have no idea what this is based on. Okay, this is an Eagle Premier. What is this? I've never seen anything like it. I don't know what it's based on. I can't even grasp what it is. So, looks like what happened at the end of AMC, this. I've never seen anything like it. Never. Ever. Hudson, last one I guess. Oh yeah, she's the last Hudson, 57. Citroen DS. The DS was Chauffeur Goddess, actually. And when they brought them out, they were just such a revelation. It's a 57 too, this one. Rare and great. The Mustang 2, often not liked by anyone, but actually the kind of time has been kind to them. As time's gone on, they kind of like them more. People have known them finally from. Well, this is a 2.3 as well, the Pinto engine, written from Charlie's Angels. Some little off-road snow thing. '50 Fraser. Wow, cutaway display car. Look, see the friction drive? Incredible, right? That's how the gears work. I mean, incredible to think that that's how you work a clutch, but back in the day, they were trying everything to try and make these work. So chain drive and friction drive. So chain drive there for the chain obviously, and then a friction drive for the clutch. Incredible, eh? Really, really unusual. If you look at the back, you can see all the memorabilia up here. I mean, we all love this, right? Stationary engines, outboard motors. So really, this is kind of a fraction of the museum. There is tons more of it to see. And you know, I've got to catch up with Matt in a second, so I'm probably going to leave it there. And I'm just going to say, hey, there's tons more to see, and you should probably come here yourself. If ever you pass in, it is really magnificent. Like, honestly, like, even look at these pumps. I think that one, my favourite, the Wayne. Just incredible. All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for that. Even the restrooms are built into the old pub look, the old petrol station. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you'll come here one day and have a look for yourself. Thanks very much.